Today we're going to learn to combine like terms. But before we do, we need to talk about what some of the words that we're going to be hearing mean. Most of these should be review. You have these in your notes packet, and you can fill them in as we go along. The first word that we need to talk about are terms. Terms are pieces of an expression that are separated by addition and subtraction symbols. So for instance, a term could be just a plain number, or it could be a letter, a variable, so it could be 7x. That is a term, just a single number or constant value of 6. That would also be a term. So when we look at an expression like this one, how many terms does this expression have? So we start counting, and each time we get to a plus or a minus sign, we count a new term. So this one would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So this would have that expression has 5 terms. Our second vocabulary word are like terms. So if we look back at that same expression, to be like terms, they have to have exactly the same variables raised to the same powers. So when I look back at my example here, this one has an x. That one has a y, so it's different. This one doesn't have a variable, so it's different. So I have 4x and 8x would be like terms. But then I also have my two constant values. So this would be a like term to this one. So there are two pairs of like terms in that expression. These other ones we've talked about. A coefficient. The coefficient is this number that we are multiplying by our variable. So in the expression negative 4x, negative 4 would be our coefficient. I also use the term constant. A constant is a term that doesn't have a variable in it. So for instance, in the expression 5m plus 7, the constant value would be 7. The coefficient would be the 5. And the variable would be the m. So we also have variable, and a variable is the letter piece that is used in place of a number. All right, we have like terms. So if we look at an example such as this one, if I want to identify my like terms, basically I can group them together. And if I take the operation that's in front of it, then I'm allowed to do what's called combining like terms. So I can take 2x plus 6x plus 8x, and all together that gives me 16x. And if I do 5 plus 3, that makes 8. So I would have 16x plus 8. So let's try a few of these. First I have to decide, do I have like terms? And if I do, I add the coefficients, but I don't change the variable. So 6x plus 3x would make, that's right, 9x. 4a plus 2a, if I think of these as actually an object, like 4 apples plus 2 apples, that gives me a total of 6 of them, so 6a. If I have 5m plus m, we have to think for a minute, how many m's do I have here? I have 1, and if it helps you, you can write the 1 in front of it. So 5m plus 1m makes 6m. And my last one, 6x plus 8y. These aren't like terms. This one has an x and this one has a y, so it just stays 6x plus 8y. It doesn't change. We can't combine them because they're not like terms. So this one just stays 6x plus 8y. So we just rewrite it the way that it was to start. On these next ones, the only difference is, instead of adding my coefficients, I'm going to subtract them. So I have 12a minus 8a. I subtract my coefficients, so that would leave me 4a. 9b minus 4b, 9 bananas minus 4 bananas, leaves me 5 bananas, or 5b. I have 11c minus a c. So again, we have to think, okay, I have 1, so 11 minus 1 makes 10c. And 4d squared minus 2d. On this one, I have a d to the second power and a d. So even though they have the same letter, they don't have the same powers, which means those are not like terms. So I can't put those together, so my answer is simplified. I don't have to do anything to that one. I just rewrite it. Now what we're going to do, since we've taken a look at these, you're going to go on to Angel, or you're going to go back to the Angel folder, and you're going to try some of the sample questions that are in there.